Being involved in what's happening in Portland has been a fantastic opportunity. Creating a new community from scratch is a very rewarding and exciting prospect. My name is Dennis Wild, and I'm a partner and senior project manager with Girding Edelin Development Company. When we came to South Waterfront and began our development, we realized this was a tremendous opportunity to develop a true model of what sustainable communities could be. Part of our philosophy is what we call the 20-minute lifestyle, wherein you can live, work, play, and get educated within 20 minutes, whether that's 20 minutes walking, by bike, or mass transit, and worst case, 20 minutes by car. The really exciting part is seeing the people getting engaged in this whole idea of building a community.
You know that we've undergone an amazing change in the last 100 years. In 1900, when there were only 1.5 billion people, there were only 16 cities with more than 1 million people. The biggest city in 1900 was London, with 6.5 million people. Tokyo was the 7th largest with 1.5 million people. Cut ahead to the year 2000, now there are 6 billion people. There are more than 400 cities with more than 1 million. Tokyo is the largest city with 26 million people. What we've got to do is redesign cities so that much more they are completely off the grid. Cities have to get all of their energy from that place, they have to get all their water from that place, and they have to contain all of their waste in that place.
Well, the history of the South Waterfront really goes back during the Second World War. This was the home of a shipyard that built Liberty and Victory ships that went by the wayside. And all that was really left down here were some miscellaneous metal fabrication and the barge works. It strikes me as a bit ironic that we would take an old industrial site and convert it into a green community. But I think you're seeing that now occurring all over the country. The sites that are most available in cities are these old riverfront sites that historically were industry and now are being viewed as the most attractive land available, particularly for residential development. When you see this model, then you start to get a better sense for what the vision is. It's about 36 city blocks. The first projects were the OHSU Center for Health and Healing. This would not be successful if it was just a residential neighborhood. It also had to have a significant employment base. And OHSU, which stands for Oregon Health Sciences University, was the obvious driver for that employment base. Then you'll have pedestrian and bike trails all along the river. So theoretically, you'll be able to walk or ride your bike all the way to downtown without having conflict with automobiles. And then right across the river is the Ross Island, which will permanently be a green space.
One of the greatest advantages environmentally of cities in general, is the fact that you have this density.
If you live in cities, you can get much more efficient use of energy for heating and cooling if you have, shared walls.
There's a lot of flat area on roofs, black blights that could be turned into solar collectors.
And we know how to do this already. That's what's so exciting. It's just a question of putting the resources into doing it at a much larger scale.
We're in the lobby of the OHSU Center for Health and Healing, and we were doing a tour for city officials that had provided a Green Investment Fund grant so that they get a sense that their money was well spent. So we're going to be headed over across here to the bioreactor. There are a series of aerobic tanks here where the sewage is processed. It goes through a UV disinfectant. We can use that for recharging the cooling towers, for flushing all of the toilets and urinals, and irrigating the landscaping. Needless to say, the city required that we mount these signs above all the toilets and urinals that say, "Do not drink."
At a certain point in the spring, as the cooling demand gets higher, we want to actually block that sun out. And rather than just block the sun out with a regular overhang like you normally would, we're actually harnessing that solar energy and converting it to electricity, and then that electricity feeds the building. The east and west side of a building is really undesirable from a solar standpoint, and so that's why the stair towers are on the east and west side.
The lights are on an occupancy sensor, so that when you go out and after a couple of minutes, then the lights shut down. All the finishes in the building are all no urea formaldehyde, agrofiber cores, so you don't smell a new building smell. We build buildings to support people's lives. And I think that's the first order of business in terms of being environmentally responsible. You have to build healthy buildings. We always thought this would be pretty spectacular, being here playing round ball, watching the tram gliding up and down.
No, this building not only sets a new benchmark for Portland, it really is a benchmark for the whole country. This is really an excellent example of a green building.
Here's your check.
Okay, that's what we wanted to hear.